And welcome back, everyone. We took a little bit of a break here, and our everything is just breaking at the same time. But we love it because we're back, and we're here to bring you an impromptu part 2 in what will be episode 6 of our podcast. Drew is still at the bottom of me. Kat's still at the top. KatzPom, take it away. Who do you got at number 6?
All right, so coming in at number 6, we got former champion himself, but we got Eli, Mr. Commissioner. Eli's got a team that I kind of feel so about this year. He made some questionable picks in my opinion, but ends up with a pretty solid team. First of all, Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins combo. I mean, outside of Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers, that's the best combo in fantasy football. So I think he's going to be getting a lot of points out of them. And DeAndre Hopkins only caught 6 touchdowns last year. I expect that number to double this year. That's my bold prediction.
I don't know. Cliff Kingsbury is kind of an idiot. You don't think Rondale Moore is going to just, go for 12 touchdowns or something?
I don't know. We actually have some notes on Rondale Moore coming up. But
you do have notes on Rondale Moore. Let's go. I love me some Rondale Moore.
But other than that, Zeke and Montgomery, solid running backs. I think Montgomery, kind of like the entire Bears team, just kind of waiting on Justin Fields to have that top end production. But Dave Montgomery had a really good second half of the season last year, but I think his ceiling is capped with Andy Dalton throwing the ball, and in the worse O-line than last year, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So, but that's that. Also, another strength, the NFL potentially not giving a shit about Deshaun Watson, as though he drafted Deshaun Watson late. We haven't heard anything on Deshaun Watson. As far as we know, he's playing. So. I would for the Texans, but
he drafted him in the 14th round, and why not? I guess. If Deshaun plays, you can probably get something better than the 14th.
If he ends up in Miami, that is like a very, very good starting quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna I have no idea what's gonna happen this year. For my fantasy purposes, I hope he does not play.
And also took Mike Thomas pretty late too. Mike Thomas, we haven't seen him play in a while, but and I know the situation with the Saints is a little messy, but he's wide receiver 1 there if he does come back from injury and recovers fine. So also mile high kicker. Braden McManus always bangs 50 yard. I think he had 10 last year too, and he wasn't even one of the top fantasy kickers. He's like playing in mile high is just so easy when it comes to kicking the ball.
Yeah, it's like being a power hitter in Coors Field. I think Mike Thomas is pretty much the X factor for Eli. I'm sure. You're going to talk about his receivers in a second, but he started McCall Hardman in one of his wideout spots.
Exactly.
I look at the projections for week 1. It's like, oh, McCall Hardman's projected 8 points. It's like, that dude ain't going for 8 points. He's going to go for like 16, or he's going to go for like 4. It's like one or the other.
Exactly. And that actually, Sam hit on it. I think the biggest weakness of Eli's team right now is his wide receiving core. If Mike Thomas, assuming he doesn't, or maybe he comes back last year, or like he did last year, and he's just not as productive anymore. But because Juju, I think, is just bad. I think Juju's his situation's already not great. My personal opinion is he is the 3rd best wide receiver in that thing, in that offense. And also Big Ben, his arm's not getting any stronger. The second half of the season, I think he's really going to drop off too. He's got LaVisca on the bench, and I think LaVisca will probably end up starting for him, but I just don't feel great about it.
Wait. McCole Hardman is starting in his flex?
Yes.
That might be the worst flex in the league.
Yeah.
It really could be. He really needs he needs either LaVisca to be good and take that spot, or for McCall to break out, or for Michael Thomas to just come back.
He also now sneaky kind of maybe, I don't really know what to expect, but Nelson Aguilar, I think he got a little bit. I think he's trending upwards with the starting of Mac Jones and not Cam Newton because I think they're going to pass the ball a little bit more now.
I would agree. The thing with Nelson Aguilar is he's really just more of a field stretch guy. Eli will tell you, and he looks at depth charts a lot. He's the number one receiver on the depth chart for New England, but who was the number one receiver last year on the depth chart for New England? It was Damiere Byrd. So
really?
it was Damiere Byrd. Like Jacoby Myers was the number 2, but Jacoby Myers obviously got the most work out of wide receivers.
Yeah, because I was going to say wide receivers to own in that horrible wide receiver room that it is going to be Jacoby Myers 1, probably Nelson Aguilar 2.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know, Nelson Aguilar was good in fantasy last year. Less in PPR, but standard league he was fine. I think he was like a top 30 some receiver. And I mean, he's just a big play guy. He's like a Deshaun Jackson type. Four-man Deshaun.
Drew, he's got one of your boys. He's got TJ Hawkinson. TJ Hawkinson, he had a really good year last year. I just don't see the Lions getting in the end zone much this year. So
yeah, he's gonna have to make up for it with the yards.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
TJ Hawk's solid though.
Yeah, TJ Hawk.
He was the best player on my team last year.
I don't know what that says about your team. Considering you had Mahomes too last year.
Hey man, we won some weeks.
Hey, you did. You won more weeks than I did. I can't talk too much shit.
TJ Hawk. The thing about TJ Hawkinson is he's that guy that will catch one. He'll have one catch and a touchdown. He doesn't get a bunch of quantity.
I think he's going to be getting more volume this year, though.
Yeah, he's got it.
That'll be good.
Someone's got to catch the ball in Detroit. It's him and Tyrell Williams and Amon St. Brown.
I just think I think the Lions situation is so bad that they could end up in a situation like, for instance, the Giants last year, where they don't even have playable fantasy options. Their fucking offense is so bad.
Yeah, I mean,
so
the only person who I would tell you this, the only player that was startable last year in fantasy for the Giants might have actually been Wayne Gallman for a month.
Yeah.
That's not even a joke. But
I also want to talk about Eli's defense situation. So it's really weird, and I don't think I like it. I put it as a weakness, but some people might consider it a strength. So he's got 2 defenses. He's got Indianapolis and Dallas. So on face value, you see Indianapolis, good defense. Then you look at their schedule, and it's all really not great matchups. I mean, he's got some sprinkled in, he's got Houston twice, Jags twice in there, but he's also got Tampa, Buffalo, Tennessee, Baltimore, a bunch of teams you're not really going to want to play him against, Rams, Seattle, all those. So he's basically got to choose ideal matchup versus really bad defense, or good defense against really bad matchup. So
yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand having the Cowboys defense. I just don't understand that.
Cowboys do have the easiest strength of schedule.
I mean, so,
I guess you can kind of, and I think that's why he took them, other than just the fact there's no other fucking defense.
There's no defense in this league anymore.
Yeah, everyone rosters.
For anyone who doesn't know, we have a rule in our league where you have to roster 3 kickers and defenses combined, and everyone decided to roster defense this year. So it's pretty hard to stream defense out in these streets.
And then I give a shit to Eli. It is Abusement Park is literally a name I would come up when I was 5 years old.
I was in leagues with him before this league started in 2016, and he still used that. So it's an oldie, but maybe not a goodie.
You got to know when it's time to rebrand. I went ahead. I don't know if you guys even saw, but I rebranded my.
Yeah, I saw that you rebranded. I'm excited.
What is your new brand?
We'll see, Drew. We'll get to it.
All right.
Number 5, we got Cody Jackson back. Jamie Jones. Strengths, obviously, super well-rounded team. I really like Cody's team top to bottom. Only 2 question mark positions. I would say wide receivers, but even that he's got. Calvin Ridley's solid. Tight ends. What is he even rolling out at tight ends?
I can look real quick.
Yeah, let me look real quick.
I got you. I bet you it's someone who
No, he's got Tyler
Howard.
Higbee. He's got Tyler Higbee. So
Yeah,
I don't really know. Last year, Tyler Higbee. Do you think Tyler Higbee's ceiling is higher now with Matt Stafford?
I
Probably.
don't. I mean, really, I've never really fucked with Tyler Higbee. Tyler Higbee felt like he was good because he's butt buddies with Jared Goff. But if Matt Stafford isn't going to be a butt buddy with him, then like, I mean, that's kind of the thing is, who's Matt Stafford going to feel the most comfortable throwing the ball to? And maybe it is Tyler Higbee, and that would mean Tyler Higbee would be really good. But what if it's Cooper Kupp, and then Cooper Kupp catches like 10 passes a game for like 80 yards minimum?
Yeah.
Just because Stafford has him as a safety blanket. I mean, that's possible.
And he's got. Oh,
I would say Higbee might have a better chance, though. I mean, if you look at who Stafford's been feeding regularly throughout his career, I mean, you look at like the Marvin Joneses, you look at the Megatrons, you look at Kenny Galladay's.
Yeah.
So,
And
I mean,
I think we'll get to it in a minute. The point I was just gonna make, but other things I'd mention: Josh Allen, Calvin Ridley, James or not James. I just said James Jones, Aaron Jones, about as good as a top 3 as you can ask for in a 14 man standard league. I mean, Josh Allen has league winning upside. I mean, you can say what it is. Would anyone be shocked if Josh Allen wins MVP this year?
No.
And I mean, he's basically running back one there. You get so many running back.
That's not even a joke. In standard, I don't even see the value of having Devin Singletary or Zach Moss on your team.
Those guys are instant cuts, in my opinion. But
yeah. By the way, just a fun fact about Josh Allen: I get to play him week 4 when he plays Houston. He's projected 26 points.
26 points. That is
ridiculous. I hate it.
Next, Aaron Jones. Now this is as a Green Bay Packers fan. Literally, okay. So, what do you expect from the Packers offense? Obviously, Davante Adams, Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, their top 3 there. Last year it was like all Davante Adams in the red zone. All Davante Adams. Davante Adams finished with 18 touchdowns. He's not going to finish with 18 touchdowns. You know those touchdowns are going to be going to? It's going to be Aaron Jones on the ground, I think. I mean, and
maybe AJ Dillon.
I know, and yeah, maybe AJ Dillon too. We'll have to see how kind of that situation works out. But they also got rid of their pass catching back, their passing down back in Jamal Williams last year. So I think Aaron Jones now he is facing a gauntlet of the schedule. I don't know if you guys have seen it anywhere, but the Packers actually have the hardest strength of schedule for running backs this year. But I think he's just going to get. I mean, Aaron Jones is a big play guy. I think he's going to be getting a lot of burn. I think he's going to be his touchdown upside. If we've seen it in the past, he's had multiple 40-point games. Yeah, I think the upside is just tremendous there with Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I personally think that Aaron Jones will be pretty good. I really like Cody's team. I think I would have put him a little bit higher. I can see why maybe his receivers are a little bit meh. I'm not looking through his roster. I'm a little less concerned about the tight end spot because he's also got Mike Gesicki, and so I think the problem is probably going to be wide receiver because he's relying on Terrace Marshall and Jalen Waddle on his bench, and that's kind of sketchy. And he's rolling out Marvin Jones Jr. and Adam Thielen as his 2 and his 3.
Yeah, I really like the upside on his bench, though. I mean, Terrace Marshall, we saw it. He was the most productive wide receiver in preseason as far as rookies. He also, right now, I think he wide receiver 3 now.
I believe he's the wide receiver 3.
Matt Rule likes to pass the ball too. I mean, he's going to be getting some targets.
He'll get some targets. It's really just more of how much do you like Sam Darnold and how much do you believe in Sam Darnold.
Even again, Waddle, big play guy, can never go wrong with upside there. Gesicki. Gesicki. I mean, I've kind of talked myself into Gesicki before. We'll have to see because there is more weapons now there. And
that's a good point.
Sam, you don't really like Tua, but he is kind of one of the only guys on that roster who already has chemistry with Tua.
Yeah.
So
I just think
but
the biggest problem for me with a lot of coach receivers is who's getting the ball. And it's like Marvin Jones is getting the ball from Trevor Lawrence. And for better or for worse, he's a rookie. Adam Thielen's getting it from Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is fine, just fine. Waddle and Gesicki are getting it from Tua. Don't really know how much I like Tua.
Kirk Cousins is the definition of just fine.
He is just fine. There's nothing
He's
wrong with
fine.
Kirk Cousins. He's just fine. And then like Terrence Marshall is getting the ball from
unless he's
Sam
playing on
Darnold.
Monday Night Football, then there's a lot wrong with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Automatic, just bench whoever. Even if it's Justin Jefferson, you just gotta just let him be.
And Thielen was one of my big avoid guys this year as far as drafting, just because he caught 14 touchdowns last year. Like that's not gonna happen again.
No chance.
There is literally negative chance of that happening.
Where are those touchdowns gonna go? Are they gonna go to Chris Herndon?
What was that? Who? The Vikings?
Yeah, where are those touchdowns gonna go? Because they just signed Chris Herndon. Like, is that where the
Chris Herndon?
Yeah, like that was just really recently.
Irv Smith, whenever he comes back after
for the season, isn't he? He tore his meniscus.
I thought it was a month recovery. No,
I think it's like 4 to 6 now. I have him in a dynasty league, and that's what it's been saying. I don't know.
Oh, okay, but that's another guy. They got some rookie receiver too. I just don't feasibly see a possibility that Thielen catches 14 touchdowns.
I wouldn't either.
He got all the red zone targets last year. So, but
yeah, next, I wouldn't bank on it.
Experts also expect Josh Jacobs to also kind of fall off.
Did you know that John Gruden, the Raiders, they put in a claim for Royce Freeman when he got waived? And then they signed who did they sign? They signed a third running back. I can't remember who it was. It was someone with some name value. I don't remember who it was though. Gruden's an idiot. I'm going to stand on the soapbox for like 30 seconds here real quick. John Gruden is the dumbest motherfucking coach I've ever seen in my life. I hate John Gruden. He's a moron. He hates Josh Jacobs. I swear Josh Jacobs slept with his wife or his daughter or whatever because he refuses to give Josh Jacobs the ball in the red zone. And he just insists on throwing it. It makes no sense. I hate John Gruden.
Darren Waller value, Drew.
Yeah, I know. Fuck you, John Gruden. Let's go to the next one.
All right, next. Next we
got Darren Waller's gonna get his.
I know he's gonna get his, Drew. I know.
That's like the one player that he likes on his team, John Gruden.
Yep.
But next we got the former champ. We got T-Cam. Again, strengths as always. T-Cam always gets a good receiving core. I don't know how he does it, but he keeps Tyreek Hill. That's how he does it. But
yeah, that's part of it.
He gets Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb projected to have just outstanding. It might just be Hard Knocks hype with CeeDee Lamb, but CeeDee Lamb is like shot up into like wide receiver 1 territory as far as where he's being drafted. And I mean, he was good last year and he didn't have Dak for most of the year. And I think everyone's just expecting him. And everything I've heard out of the Cowboys camp is he came like ready and he just took an enormous leap from last year somehow. So I don't know. We'll see.
I'll believe it when I see it. I think.
Yeah, no, wait. He's got CeeDee Lamb in his wide receiver 2.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I think CeeDee will be fine, especially Dak. They'll put up numbers together. I think the big breakout is next year though, when Michael Gallup is just gonna be gone. And I think that's the big breakout.
We're early on CeeDee.
And I mean, so I did some research. This is only data from like 2014, 15 on. But there's only been like 6 receivers that are under the age of like 25 that have ever become like top 5 receivers in the NFL in terms of standard, at least. And so, like, I don't think CeeDee Lamb's going to be like anything like that. Even Justin Jefferson wasn't like top 5. He was like, good. But I mean, it's just really hard to be a young receiver and break through like that. Because it's just, It just doesn't happen very often. The guys that do it are like your Tyreeks and your OBJs, your new Hopkins is like just the like.
But next, another strength of his team, he's got Javonte Williams. His running back core isn't looking great, but Javonte Williams is supposed to eventually be a fantasy dog this year. So we'll see. I don't know. I believe the hype with Cam Akers last year, and I'm kind of scarred forever from these super breakout guys. So
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is with Akers though, he got in a situation where McVay is the kind of guy who thinks he's smarter than everyone in the room, and he just decided he was going to go with the three-headed running back.
And then he got hurt too, and then he really didn't. He wasn't. Basically, I mean, Cam Akers, by the time he was productive, everyone had already dropped him and gave up on him. So
yeah, I think you're going to still have to be patient with Javonte because, Gordon's still there. Melvin Gordon's still there. You're going to have to be patient with them. And I'm just going to say it really sucks that Kareem Hunt and Javonte Williams are 1-2 right now, which I think Kareem Hunt is fine for even right now, just because he's going to get enough passing work and the Browns run the ball a lot. But I mean, by the end of the year, if Nick Chubb ever went down, and Javonte took over that backfield from Melvin Gordon, which I think will happen eventually.
I mean, this is how TCAM builds his team, though. Like, it seems like every year he just stays patient with it. And at the end of the year, he has a squad. So
yeah,
and that's kind of what you see. He's starting Darnell Mooney. I think he's banking on Justin Fields taking that duty and Darnell Mooney becoming fantasy good by the end of the year.
I like Darnell Mooney.
Well, yeah, he should be starting Austin Hooper, but
I wouldn't be starting Austin Hooper.
I would not start Austin Hooper. That is a fucking.
Austin Hooper is a super solid backup tight end, or like a low end starter guy. I had him last year in a different league, and I mean, like he had some okay games. It's just him and Baker don't really mesh together. It's too much of a run orientated offense.
Yeah, but two guys I do trust. I mean, Russell Wilson. I mean, he's always one of the best fantasy quarterbacks, and George Kittle. Only thing stopping George Kittle is getting hurt. Like, he is going to be a top 3 tight end this year if he's healthy.
Well, Russell Wilson's only good for the first 7 weeks.
That's true. But next, weaknesses. I mean, we obviously pretty much already mentioned it, but running back 1, Kareem Hunt. Not great. Not great. They do have an easy schedule. I'll say that. So he's going to be getting a lot of burn too. But
he could end up having James Conner as a viable fantasy option if Kingsbury just hates Chase Edmonds' guts.
Yeah, but and then the hole in his team right now is obviously his flex spot. I mean, he's got Mooney. We already talked about the upside with Mooney if Field starts, but there's a situation where Andy Dalton starts the whole year, and then I don't like Darnell Mooney at all. And there's also a situation, Sterling Shepard, just super injury prone. I know a lot of people like Sterling Shepard owners like to point to his, like, he's actually averaging like 12 fantasy points when he's on the field. The problem is he's not like ever on the field.
Do you want to call out who says that every time, or?
No, that was a Gavin quote.
Yeah, that is a Gavin quote. Yeah, Gavin is quote. The resident Sterling Shepard truther of the group.
Yeah. Other options as far as flex options you mentioned earlier, Rondale Moore. But the problem is Rondale Moore will not be successful if he is not used properly. Like, he's a 5'7" receiver who is really not built as a receiver. Like, he is like a gadget guy. So I don't know if that's ever fantasy playable. I mean, we've seen it fail so many times. We've seen it fail with Tavon Austin failed. Man, who are more guys that were DeAnthony Thomas failed. I know he had like injury stuff too, but those guys just never seem to become great. I mean, only exception is Tyreek Hill. Like, that's it. And Tyreek Hill's 1 of 1.
Yeah. So, we'll just have to see through it.
Yeah. But next, Sam coming in at number 3. I really like Sam's squad this year. He had a lot of extra draft capital this year, and I think he spent it well for the most part. Nick Chubb, obviously number 1 pick. Terry McLaurin, the Robinson, blanking on his first name. Jesus.
Oh, James Robinson.
James Robinson is back, beneficiary of a Travis Etienne injury. And then T Higgins. Now, T Higgins is kind of, I don't know. Do you think banking on T Higgins is basically banking on, I don't really know where he drafted him, but T Higgins has the upside of being wide receiver 1 there. He can also be wide receiver. I think he's going to be getting volume until Jamar Chase at least gets broken into the league.
I would say just kind of speed running what I think of my team is Higgins was still even good with Brandon Allen last year. So I'm really not concerned about Higgins being like – Higgins might only end up being a wide receiver 3, which would suck. But I think I have enough other stuff on the bench running back wise that I can get another wide receiver.
Yeah.
I really like the depth that I have at wide receiver between Jacoby Myers and like even a Jamison Crowder if he doesn't just get Wally pipped.
Yeah.
To complement my wide receivers, OBJ at wide receiver 3 is something I was looking to do.
Yeah.
I agree with your weaknesses there, though. You know, Matt Ryan, I think Matt Ryan is just kind of a guy. I'm going to have to find – if I want to win, I'm going to have to find a new guy, I think.
Also, OBJ, you're about to feel the wrath of having
Here's the thing, Drew.
He's in your starting lineup.
The thing about Odell's role on Sam's team is all he really needs is wide receiver 3 production.
Yeah,
He's got wide receiver 1 upside. You can say what you want about Odell, but he can drop 30 any given week. He can also drop 2 any given week.
We'll see.
He's not going to drop 30 one time this year.
All right, we got the screen recording to prove it. Let's move on to the next one. We spent a lot of time talking.
Me, reformed the Booty Bandits.
Boo.
Booty Bandits, number 2.
Boo. Whatever.
Yeah, but I'll kind of fly through my team here. Dalvin Cook, Antonio Gibson in a 14-man standard league is ridiculous as a running back room, like insane.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a huge Antonio Gibson guy, but whatever.
Okay. I love my ceiling of having Robert Woods, Brandon Ayuk. I think Brandon Ayuk could finish as a wide receiver 1 this year. I really do.
I think Robert Woods is really good. I've wanted Robert Woods pretty much for the last 4 years and never been able to draft Robert Woods. Kind of pisses me off.
Yeah. And in my flex, I have the option of Robbie Anderson, Corey Davis. Corey Davis was a target whore in preseason.
Yeah, I know. You know what I think about Corey Davis. I don't think Corey Davis is very good, but Corey Davis might just get it by volume.
Mm-hmm. And then Michael Carter as kind of a long-term guy. No reason to believe Justin Herbert can't be great this year. So tight end for me right now, I'm rolling out Jonnu really just because I like Jonnu Smith. And
yeah,
I mean, kind of just, I think I'm a beneficiary of Mac Jones taking the job too. I just kind of hoping that Mac Jones just loves Jonnu Smith. Honestly. Yeah,
I think Mac Jones made a lot of people happy, except for Fox because he's named after Cam.
I know you're never gonna start him, but your actual wide receiver 3 is Cole Beasley.
Come get him from me, Drew. I offered you,
dude. I'm just saying he's gonna have like 8 touchdowns after week 8.
You need him more than I do.
Like, damn.
I got
Cole Beasley then, Drew. Right after the show.
I don't know, dude. My wide receiving core is kind of stacked. So
okay. Good. Next. But number 1, we got Nick. He was also number 1 last year.
He was number 1 last year. Nick is the off-season champion back-to-back years.
I mean, what more do I have to say? He's got the holy grail of fantasy football right now. Christian McCaffrey, which is just a bona fide like 20 to 30 piece every week. So but CMC, DK Metcalf,
Mahomes.
Yeah.
How did we let him get Mahomes? How did no one draft Mahomes super early?
Eli, you can blame Eli for that. Eli should have taken him. But
whatever.
But CMC, DK
anyone
Metcalf
won this league with Mahomes?
No. Mahomes only been to the title game once.
Yeah, so I don't. Yeah, I think Mahomes might be.
Mahomes on your team 1 year. No, Mahomes on your team
2
twice.
years. Yep.
Yeah, that's why he hasn't won anything.
Well,
He's on
then,
your team.
yeah. Well, bro. No, it's because he's a curse.
Whatever.
I think your team is the curse.
No, bro. No.
But yeah, outside of that, other pieces there's going to be legitimate weeks where CMC finishes as the top scoring running back. Mahomes is going to finish as the top scoring quarterback, and then DK Metcalf is going to get a touchdown. Nick's just going to win.
If Nick doesn't put up a 140 spot some point this year, it's like I don't know how he doesn't do it. He's got 3 dudes who can easily just get to 30.
Yeah, exactly. Even Denver defense, I think, is one of the best later pick defenses right now. Von Miller back.
Giants week 1. Easy play.
Yeah. Giants week 1. Oh, yeah. Weaknesses, really, he got pretty good value on Miles Sanders, but Miles Sanders is projected to fall off this year.
Sirianni's dummy.
Yeah, he's stupid. And then 3 tight ends at the roster just kind of sitting there. He's got.
Is he trying? He's gonna try and trade one or something. That would be a Nick move.
I don't know.
On brand.
Russell, so his wide receiver room is kind of one injury away from being kind of a problem, but that's kind of it.
Kind of a
last thing I'll say. I kind of skipped over this before. Claypool and AB, I really like the upside there. It's like people just forgot AB was like a Hall of Fame wide receiver.
Yeah, no, AB's good.
And he sat like most of the year last year, came out and was still really good.
Yeah, he was really good last year.
He's also one injury away. Mike Evans and Godwin both missed time last year at some point. He is one injury away from being like a instant start.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown. Yeah.
Claypool is pretty much the same way. If one of Deontay Johnson or Juju gets hurt, then he's just gonna take a shit ton of targets too.
I know. But next, we're kind of opening this part up for debate. But we got just position rankings right here. That's basically the formula that I use to put this together. So that's going to be the ranking in which, like, obviously 14 being the worst, 1 being the best, how I feel about the teams ranked amongst the league as far as broken down by their position group. So that's that. Drew, obviously the 14. Where is that? 14 for
what? Yo, guys, why am I behind Kyler? Really? Kyler's not going to win a game this year.
Okay.
Kyler has Alvin Kamara, though.
Last thing before we just shoot the shit here for the last minute. This is the rankings. Drew, as you can see, there's the most significant step down, a whole 1.5 below Kyler too.
Oh my God.
And Drew, the difference is he's got Alvin Kamara. I know Alvin Kamara is going to be good. I don't know if Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be a running back 1. I don't know that.
Dude, I got Darren Waller, Joe Burrow.
That's the only thing. Look, we can go back to the position group, Drew. Darren Waller's number 2. Still doesn't matter.
Yeah, so every week I'm going to manhandle whoever I'm playing at the tight end position, no matter who I'm playing.
You're just going to get manhandled at all the other positions.
Not facts, dude.
And Sam, you and I want to point this out. We're pretty much neck and neck.
All right.
I don't know if you saw that, but I was kind of going back and forth on me and you, but
bias. Anyways, so we have like a minute left, so I'm going to end this right now because I don't want to get cut off. So thanks again for everyone for watching. If you have questions, you can find us at our Twitter that I will say eventually someday. Thanks again for watching. Please like, subscribe, and whatever. And it was good talking the shit with these 2 a-holes.